Hi, I'm Candace, the owner of I Heart Black Business, and we are here for Embody, Embrace. This year, we are celebrating food from around the world and the cultures represented by them. Here I am with the owner of Dream City, Fred Newell. Fred, how are you today?
I'm doing good, and yourself?
Pretty good. So tell us a little bit about Dream City. What is Dream City?
Our mission here is to inspire change through advocacy, art, wellness, and community connections. We do that through 4 different connection academies, from youth leadership to fatherhood to health and wellness, and to our performing arts academy. So, through those particular programs, we have tons of things for youth, for families, from mentoring to dance to music to academic supports to sports teams to providing meals within our community for young people and their families. That's kind of a quick rundown of kind of some of the things we do here.
Nice. So are you based in Iowa City?
We are an Iowa City nonprofit.
Do you do outreach in other communities as well outside of Iowa City?
We have a few kids that come maybe from Coralville, North Liberty, the Tiffin area, but we're primarily based here on the southeast side of Iowa City.
Okay. So one thing that we're focused on this year for Embody Embrace is a lack of food resources in our community. So that includes healthy food, reasonably priced food, and then just a variety of options for everyone that lives in our community partners. Okay. So do you have any programs or any, events that you do that focus on a lack of food resources?
So we recently just started a food program through our Youth Leadership Academy. We don't even have a name for it. But we saw that there was a need for kids to have meals for lunch or dinner. Mm-hmm. So every Tuesday through Friday, we provide either dinner or lunch. So actually Tuesday, Thursdays, we provide a hot meal, but which is prepared for by one of our staff here. Her name is Selena Gunn. Mm-hmm. And on Wednesdays and Fridays, we provide a hot lunch, which is also prepared by her.
Nice. So how did you find out that there was a need in the community for that?
I guess when kids come into our facility, the first thing that they're asking for is food. And it doesn't matter what time, whether through our summer program, when they come at 9 a.m, they're ready to eat. If they're coming right after school, they're ready to eat. If they're coming for an evening activity, they're ready to eat. So as we started talking with families and young people about the need for, why is it that you're always hungry? We learned that lots of our kids, they need school to eat, or they need programs to be able to get those good, healthy meals. And when you even think about the pandemic, how a lot of students were not going to school for a long period of time, we didn't start this program till March. So we kind of feel like we was behind the 8 ball once we started it. But as we started it, we're feeding about 50 kids a day, and could be doing more, but the budget only allows for us to limit it at that particular number.
Right. And I think you definitely touched on something key. When the pandemic did hit, the schools were closed. The topic of children not even getting the right nutrition didn't even pop up until I think pretty much 2021, or at least the end of 2020, when they've already gone through half of a school year. So I think for sure people weren't even considering that some children only get fed because they go to school and they have that free or reduced lunch program that allows them to get that food that they can't get at home.
Yeah, that's absolutely crazy. And even nothing against what the school is providing, but once we saw the lunches that kids were getting, it wasn't something that I myself would even want to eat. So we wanted to do something different to be able to give kids a nice hot meal that they would be able to enjoy.
So what kind of meals do you provide?
Man, we provide everything from soul food to chicken to fish to Italian beefs. We provide a lot of the Chicago style food, or that's at least what I would call it.
Right.
From burgers to, we just had a meal prepared for some of the kids that's here, which was chicken nugget and fries, like things that we like to eat. Now, some people may say, well, all that's not healthy for you, but hey, sometimes you gotta have some good food as well.
Right. It'll help build your immune system.
Absolutely.
For sure.
And we make sure we put a vegetable, a fruit. All of those things are always provided in each meal, regardless of what we're serving. So those are some of the type of meals we're giving out on a daily basis.
Awesome. So how did you come up with the resources to actually produce this program?
So I actually wrote a grant to the city. These were some COVID funds, and they wanted the funds had it to be related to something involved around COVID. So these funds are actually about to run out on June 11th, I believe, will be the last day that we have those particular funds. So we're recently about to launch, or we're getting ready to launch a fundraiser, as well as to continue to write grants to be able to do this year round, because the need is that great.
Wow. So how can the community continue to support you? We know that the funds are running out. Is there anything that the community can do to help support this program and keep it going?
Absolutely. So one of the ways the community can support is absolutely helping financially. But we just recently had a group, I think it's Moms Against Guns, or Moms Demand Action Against Guns. They signed up to cook a meal once a month on a Thursday. So if there's other community groups who would like to come in and to be able to cook a meal, whether that's for dinner, whether it's for lunch, that's another way that people can help out in this particular program.
Based on your outreach, what would you say is the most pressing issue in the community in regards to lack of food?
The most pressing issue, man. I would say the lack thereof of what people have in their homes, right? Because kids spend more time at home than they do at school now, at community centers. So I do know that, when we ask questions, or families who are comfortable enough to ask, just even got a message yesterday, well, I have no food in my home at all. So we had to hurry up and try to figure something out. But the lack thereof of the resources of food in the home for families, I think that's one of the most pressing needs. And I know, even myself used to ask the question like, well, don't people get food stamps, this and that? But that stuff don't last for an entire period of time.
Right.
And even for this particular individual who called for help, is saying, well, I'm not going to get these particular funds until this particular date, which makes sense. So you went a whole month, you used all of your money the first time you went. And then if it's nothing else that if you don't have transportation to get to the local places that can even give you dry goods and things of that nature, then you're kind of out of luck. So I think that's the most pressing need.
Definitely. And on top of that, some people end up not even qualifying for those
Absolutely.
resources. So they put in the work to fill out the applications and then they still get rejected.
Which again is another problem, right? Because we find that there's lots of families who will only work a certain amount of hours because they come to find, or in their mind, they're better off with not going over this threshold, because if I do, then that's going to limit the insurance I can have for my children, or the food that I can provide for my children. So I think, to me, that's all problematic.
Right. Definitely. Seems like definitely a domino effect.
Absolutely.
So it starts with the adults definitely at the top. If the government could provide more resources to the heads of the households and provide more for them, then they would be able to provide more for the children. And then there wouldn't be such a great need for it everywhere. Correct.
I know we're talking about food disparities, but I think that goes back to the importance of companies even paying their employees their worth, because lots of our families that we serve, their families have to work multiple jobs. And even when you find parents working multiple jobs, that limit who's cooking for the kid, right?
Right.
Or what type of food can a kid even cook for themselves safely, or herself safely. So that goes back to a greater problem that we are facing within our community.
Wow. So touching back on the program you have now, the Unnamed Food Program.
Correct.
I did notice you also deliver.
We do.
So how did that come about?
It was more so due to COVID. We know that many of our kids, matter of fact, many of the families we serve are not getting vaccinated out of fear. So we didn't want to just bring a large group of people into our particular space. So instead of doing that, we have about 20 kids that we feed in person. And then the rest of it we take to the community.
Oh, nice. So do people have to sign up for that in advance?
Absolutely.
Okay,
yes.
Awesome.
And we're not promoting it to get more, because we're not able to take any more new individuals right now. But so when we first started the program, we put out a flyer. Within maybe the first 2 hours, we had already reached capacity.
Oh, wow.
So to me, again, that talks about the need for this program being something that could be sustained year round, and as well as how can we truly advocate for the families we're serving to be able to have the things that they need to survive.
Right. And that means that people are looking for that as well.
Correct.
So they've probably been searching for it for a long time and jumped on that opportunity so that they wouldn't miss it.
Correct.
And that's only the people that you are able to reach from that flyer. So was that posted just online, or did you hang that up at
Nope,
the community?
it was posted online. It was shared so many different times. And again, within 2 hours, like, I had to tell people, like, sorry, we reached capacity.
Right. So there's also a large population who don't have internet out here, who
Correct.
could probably use that as well, who don't even know about that opportunity. So yet another need that needs to be touched as well.
Absolutely.
So with your program, do you use volunteers to prepare the meals and to serve them to your youth?
So as far as the preparing, though, we have a staff who we hired for this reason. And then our hope is that we wrote another grant where we're going to be able to provide meals 2 days a week instead of 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we're continuing to fundraise and look for other grants so that we can do it 5 days a week. So we have a staff who makes all the meals. And then we do have a couple of volunteers who come and help us deliver the meals.
Are you looking for more volunteers?
Always.
Awesome.
Always.
So if you had more volunteers, would you be able to deliver to more people?
I mean, that we got to have more funds to provide the food before we can do that. I mean, I think in this particular community, volunteers have been the reason why Dream City has been here so long.
Mm-hmm.
So we more so need more resources than we do even volunteers. But if there's volunteers that want to help, whether that's cook, whether that's deliver meals, whether that's speak to other entities about the work that we're trying to do or connect us to other local resources that can help,
Mm-hmm.
we absolutely want them.
Oh, definitely. Awesome. So in terms of the community in general, not just Dream City, what would you like to see in terms of food security?
Man, I just think, like, if our kids can be promised breakfast, lunch, and dinner, like, that's what I would like to see. I think it is critical. I mean, I worked for the district for many years, and I just saw how kids were coming to school already agitated, frustrated, not wanting to learn. I mean, when you're not getting the nutrition that you need, you're not going to have the energy you need, you're not going to have the focus that you need. So if our community can find a way that every child within this community, whether they're on the southeast side or whether they're on the west side, the north side, it doesn't matter. Like, if every child can be promised a good breakfast, lunch, and dinner too, not just, we just want to just throw something together to give you. Like, kids know that, right?
Right.
And I think that the difference about the food we make versus others is made with love. Like, I believe that my grandmother always taught me that it's the love within this food that makes it so good. So when you just putting something together just to just say, oh, we fed them. No, like, most kids wasn't even eating the free lunch. And I know there are some people that say, well, it's free, so you should eat it. Well, no, like, you're not just going to just throw me basically some bones and just say, this is what you're worth. So I think that every child deserves a good, healthy, hot breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's what I would like to see.
What do you think is the best way, or even the simplest way, for this to grow within the community, to get more programs like this to spread further past IOC, like for the whole Johnson County region?
Man, I think what's needed is just unity. Like, if there's whatever community partner, whether that's a faith-based community, whether that's non-faith-based, whether that's the school, whether that's the city, whether that's the county, whether that's other nonprofits, whether that's businesses, like, is there a way that we can all come together to build a one program that allows for families to know this is the resource that's going to provide what it is that you need when it comes to food?
Awesome. So if there was one local area restaurant or food business that you could shout out and recommend for the community to support.
Man, you gonna do that to me? One local. Okay,
Yes.
well,
What would be your top pick?
Man, I gotta shout out our chef that's cooking here. So she also has her own business called Selena's Creations.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna shout her out. And then I gotta shout out Mama's Kitchen and Chicken and Fish, just because she do a lot of what she's doing here as well.
Mm-hmm. And she recently opened, right?
Correct. Just recently opened. And then I'm gonna shout out just one more, which is one of my favorite, is Roysan Soul Food. So those are three small local businesses that people should absolutely support.
Awesome.
But our chef here is Selena's Creation, so, support it.
Right. Gotta support them. They're the ones providing the food.
Absolutely.
For the community.
Absolutely.
Sure. Well, thank you for your time. Is there a place that people can find out more information about your programs in Dream City?
Yeah, you can follow us on all social media platforms at Dream City IA, or you can check out our website at www.dreamcityia.org.
Awesome. Well, we thank you so much for taking the time to speak about our community and the state of food security out here, because even though Iowa City seems to be one of the more major, populations in the state of Iowa, there's still some food insecurities that we experience out here as well. So we definitely want to highlight that and let people know that the need still exists, whether you have a population of, 200,000 people or just 2,000 people, the need still exists. So thank you so much for actually stepping out, creating this program, choosing to be the first to give out free food to the community, and supporting and asking for support from the community as well. It's definitely needed. It's definitely appreciated. And we hope that all of our listeners and watchers here on this audience will go and support Dream City. Look for their fundraiser. Make sure you're following them on social media so that you can support them financially. And also reach out to the government, ask them to continue to help and support. Our local businesses do need funding. It's definitely a lack, especially small Black-owned businesses. They definitely need funding to help their programs and their businesses stay alive. Businesses like Dream City, this nonprofit, it's so deeply rooted in the community. It's very needed. The Iowa City would be completely different without it. So definitely support it. Tell everyone you know to support it, and continue to check them out. DreamCityIowa.org, Dream City IA on all social media platforms. This is Candace from I Heart Black Business, and we are here for Embody Embrace, celebrating food from around the world. Thank you for watching.